since she was 5'10" and wearing 4-inch heels. Broader and taller, Spencer Boyd had grown up while she was gone. Not that he hadn't been handsome in high school, quite the opposite. Every girl at Ardent Springs High tried to catch Spencer Boyd, but he'd only ever had eyes for Lorelei. Until she'd refused to accept a lifetime sentence in their tiny town, popping out a passel of rugrats with the last name Boyd. Back in the day, Spencer had been wiry and thin, with the potential for more, and he'd certainly fulfilled that potential. His broad shoulders were accompanied by a solid chest, narrow hips, and thighs that were made for denim. Lorelei had once known the body before her in the biblical sense, as Granny would say, back when it was hard angles and so thin she could count his ribs. There would be no rib counting now, but she felt safe in the guess that a six-pack lurked beneath the button-down. "You look good, too," he said, one side of his mouth tilted up in a grin that lacked any of the distaste she expected to see. The brown eyes held her blue ones, as if daring her to deny where her thoughts had wandered. Lorelei pulled the yellow jacket tight across the front of her little black dress. "Shall we?" she asked, stepping to the edge of the curb, ignoring the suitcases at her feet. "Allow me," Spencer said, a hefty dose of sarcasm dripping from each word. They'd always had that in common. "It's the gray Dodge on the right, 2 rows back." After checking for oncoming traffic, Lorelei stepped off the curb and followed his directions. She didn't need the word pickup included with gray Dodge to know that's what she was looking for. That was a given. Males, and many females, in Ardent Springs had always driven pickup trucks. Lorelei doubted that had changed in the last dozen years. But she had forgotten another characteristic of Ardent Springs residents. They loved their dogs. As she made the last step up to the passenger door, a large black beast hopped up in the truck bed and barked right next to her head. Lorelei jumped back, slamming her hip into the side mirror of the neighboring Honda. "Holy crap! That thing nearly gave me a heart attack!" Her hip hurt like hell, but her pride was the real injured party. "You brought a stupid dog all the way to the airport?" Spencer threw her suitcases into the truck bed, shoved his hat off his forehead, and shot her an angry look from the opposite side of the truck. "Champ here has a guaranteed ride home. You insult my dog again and you won't be so lucky." Lorelei rolled her eyes. "Granny is so gonna pay for this," she mumbled under her breath. Once Spencer unlocked the doors, she jerked hers open, but found climbing in wasn't so easy. She tried several angles, working to make sure her dress didn't slide up to her belly button, but nothing was working. In her concentration, she hadn't noticed Spencer come around the back of the truck. "In you go," he said, lifting her off her feet as easily as he'd tossed her suitcases through the air. Lorelei landed with an oomph on the bench seat, her dress high enough to reveal more than she was comfortable flashing her former boyfriend. Thankfully, he'd been traipsing back around the vehicle and hadn't seen a thing, she hoped. Dress straightened and seatbelt fastened, Lorelei checked her reflection in the side mirror, dabbing a bead of sweat off her forehead and straightening her hair. Spencer hauled himself into the cab using the steering wheel for leverage. Seatbelt buckled, he opened the console and pulled out a dog biscuit. "A snack for the road?" she asked, shooting him her most insincere smile. The driver ignored her, slid the back window open, and waited. A large black head popped through the opening, took the biscuit, then popped back out. "You won't want to?" He pointed to the slot in the console where the treat had come from. With a curled lip, she answered, "I had 6 peanuts on the plane. I'm good." "Suit yourself." Spencer started the truck, slid on a pair of sunglasses, and put the wheels into motion. Lorelei noted the time on the radio and calculated how long the drive would take. If Nashville traffic was the same as it used to be at 5:30 on a Friday, she had nearly 2 hours to enjoy the scintillating company of the cowboy beside her. Snatching a pair of sunglasses from her purse, she opted for the cowardly way to handle the situation. She'd take a nap. Spencer paid the parking attendant, then rolled the truck onto Donaldson Pike. As they drove toward I-40, she watched the sunset to her left.